respect to the sacrifice for truth, and I still go out of my way to shake a veteran's hand and tell them thank you.
Hey folks, welcome to today's, I believe we're on the 12th Casual Conversation. So we're getting set up right here. Art, thanks for joining. Everyone else, thank you for joining. We're just getting set up. We have a few things we're going to talk about today. All right, we're perfect. Excuse the ornery little 4-year-old running upstairs and making loud noises, but he's definitely having a good day. So hopefully everyone had a great weekend. I know I did. Those of you who celebrate Easter, I hope you had a great one. I understand that some things were limited, but, you know, don't necessarily have to go to church to express your religious beliefs. You know, a lot of them are doing this whole online thing, which is great. So hopefully everyone had a lot of fun with their family. The kids were able to have a visit from the Easter Bunny. They got some good gifts, candy, which is probably why my kid is running around having fun bouncing off the walls. So again, as everyone knows, I am Robert Santos, and I am running for the Republican nomination to run against Tim Ryan for the 13th district for Ohio's congressional seat. Before we begin, or as we begin, we will start off with the same thing as we do every single time, and we will get this on. Let's reiterate absentee ballots. If you haven't already, go ahead and request them. Get them sent to your house so that way you can have them postmarked by the 27th. But keep in mind, a few Board of Elections have actually contacted me and saying that, well, I asked them, they called me back, saying that the 25th is the last they're going to send anything out. Because obviously if they send it out on the 26th, you're not going to get your absentee ballot in time to have it postmarked by the 27th. Joseph, Jarian, Jen, Barb, John, Johanna, thanks for joining. I know I missed a few names, but I definitely appreciate everyone's support. So get out there, get your absentee ballot. This is a new week, so we're going to start off with our new quote of the week. This one is by Franklin D. Roosevelt, and there's a reason why I chose this one above all else. So we'll show that right here. The only thing we have to fear is fear ourselves. The reason why I chose this one is the media is blowing a lot of things out of proportion. I understand COVID-19 is definitely a horrible virus. We definitely want to do our best to ensure that no one really gets sick from it. We want to definitely get rid of that spike that everyone's at the governor and Acton's talking about, but we can't live in fear. The moment we do that, that's when we lose ourselves as a whole and as a nation. So we need to make sure we look fear right in the eyes and tell them we're not going to be afraid. Let's step up and then keep moving forward and do what we can to prevent ourselves from getting this disease or virus, but keep living our lives. Hi, Barb. Trudy, thanks for joining. Barb, thanks for sending it out. Today, obviously, one of the things I started last Wednesday is this day in American history. If those who don't know, in 1970, oh, there goes my phone. In 1970, Apollo 13 experienced their air tank exploded. Y'all have probably watched that movie with, oh man, what's his name now? Whatever his name is, he doesn't like Trump, so I don't care what his name is. Tom Hanks, that guy. So we'll pull that up here if I can figure that out. There we go. These guys right here. Fred Haas, if I pronounced his name wrong. You have Commander John, can't pronounce his last name, but we all know he was actually replaced last minute because he had a disease. So the original one, which I believe was like Mantell, he was replaced by John. And then James Lovely, as we all know, on the third day when the air tanks exploded, and it led to the movie. Obviously, he came back safe. It was actually one of the things called a successful failure. The reason why it was called a successful failure is because, one, the mission failed. They did not land on the moon, but it was successful because they brought everyone home alive. So that's definitely great. I give these three men they're awesome. I mean, they went above and beyond, did crazy things, and they got back home. Davis, thanks for joining. Mike, Darian. So we'll get that out here. We'll go back to the comments. There's a few things I want to talk about, which is why I chose the quote of the week, and we'll leave that up there as well. I'll get faster at this, guys, I swear. Hide that. There we go. You know, I do have a green screen. I tried doing that, but my face, I end up looking like the Phantom of the Opera. So we got to figure that one out. But one of the reasons why I chose this quote above all else is what's going on. As I said earlier, the media is, I truly feel they're blowing a lot of things out of proportion. I don't like the numbers that the governor and Acton are portraying to us because there's a lot of factors that are not included in their so-called data that I think should be included. One of the things I believe should be included was individuals, they've even said it, that we know there's many individuals out there who have had this virus and have gotten better from it. But the problem is they're not testing them. Why? Because unless they have a serious case or serious symptoms, they're not testing them. So since they're not testing them and only assuming that they have the virus, then they're not going to be presuming, even though that's what, or assume, can't even talk, assume that they have it, they're not going to include them in the data. But they're just going to pull off numbers off their head. One death is definitely too many. But then again, I mean, I don't mean to be cold-hearted, but it's part of life. We need to take care of ourselves. I'm not trying to put religion on anyone out there, especially if you guys don't share the same religious beliefs as me. But what I truly believe is, if it's your time, it's your time. Obviously, I'm not going to go look for it. I'm not going to go play in traffic, and I definitely don't suggest anyone else does that. But as long as you're careful and you do what you need to do, wash your hands, do everything, then you'll be fine. Rich, you didn't notify. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know if it's because the program I use. We'll have to look into that, Rich. Some people really aren't getting notifications. I'm not too sure. The only reason why I chose this program is because the last one, Facebook, I believe it was my 7th casual conversation, Facebook deleted the entire thing. So what this does, it automatically streams to Facebook and YouTube. And if I want to pay a fee, then it would give me a 3rd, 4th, and 5th place to stream. I just want to make sure that our stream is saved, so that way if Facebook does, in fact, delete it, we can still post it and post it back on. Thank you, Mindy. I understand everyone has lives. I mean, you don't want to sit there and look at my ugly mug for about an hour and watch me run my mouth for a while and talk about what I want to do. I mean, I get it. This will be recorded. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you have. Yes, Angel, we do. We have to have a postmark by 27th, obviously. There's a few things I want to get off before we get fully started. I tried to watch Tim Ryan's speech that he was talking about earlier. I won't make fun of his appearance because I haven't shaven sometimes. Obviously, I did this today, but I won't. I guess some people will make fun that he wasn't shaven. I mean, like, that's, deal with it. His 15 minutes are up. I mean, I think he's definitely done, Denny. I think it's time that he gets replaced. I won't attack anyone personally. However, I feel that he hasn't done anything for this area. He doesn't really care. He claims he does. He's a typical politician that will talk a good game, but he doesn't. When it's time to bat, he strikes out. I think we need someone to actually push and fight for the people. He'll push bills just when it's time for him to be elected. But he doesn't do anything. He's had 74 bills pushed that he sponsored, which means he created, supposedly. However, only 3 were actually passed. 2 were to rename buildings. 1 was like a property reallocation, I believe. But it was like when he first got elected. He hasn't really done anything. Now, given if he didn't push a single bill or get a bill sponsored, but he assisted other congressmen and women doing what's good for District 13, that would be great. But right now, all he's doing is pushing bills, pushing legislation, and let it sit on the desk and die. I'm not following up on it, not saying what's going on. There's no communication with the other congressmen and women in determining what's the best suited. What I mean by that is, if you go on the congressional website, I'll have this out for you on the next time. I'll actually write it down so I do it. But if you actually go on the congressional website, you'll see conflicting bills. What I mean is both, for example, just making something on top of my head, they want this pen blue. So one person will submit a bill for it to be blue, but another one will submit a bill saying they want it to be teal or light blue or sky blue. It's pretty much the same thing, but has minor changes. Why aren't they communicating with each other and creating one bill instead of having 10 bills or 15 or 20 bills introduced? It's a waste of time, a waste of effort, and it's resources that could be used for something else. Conflicting. I'm writing that down because I will make sure I will show you guys on Wednesday. Thank you, Everett. I appreciate it. Jeffrey, thanks for joining. Everett, thanks for joining too. One of the things we'll show here, if I can share my screen, we'll make sure this pops up, is on national debt, which goes into the whole conflicting bills I was actually talking about. We do have lots of bills out there, legislation, name it, going out there that is cranking up this number. Wrong one. Cranking up this number right here. The 24 trillion amongst all others. They're only going up and never going down. We have the highest national debt out of pretty much the world. I added up the world debt clock. If you add up all these minus the United States, every single one that's in red, the national debt, it adds up to 45 trillion. Now I rounded, but it added up to 45 trillion. So we have half of what the rest of the world has. That is ridiculous. And our population is not as big as most countries. You can actually look at it. I mean, we all know China has a population through the roof. See if we can go back there. There we go. And obviously we have Ohio, our debt, which obviously is increasing as well. We need to do whatever we can to ensure that things get better. Not necessarily for ourselves. It's going to take a while for us to improve on the decline that's happening with the economy, with the hit that's being taken from the coronavirus. However, we will fight back. We will come back. It is going to be hard work. However, we will be able to come back. I mean, look what happened to the Depression, the stock market crash. We will be okay. It'll be horrible for a while. It'll suck, but we're Americans. I have faith that each and every single one of us will be able to step up, teach our kids how to live, how to succeed, how to fight to ensure their future is bright for their kids as well, just as we are fighting for them. You asked, let me see if I can pop this up here. You asked how much longer you think this lockdown will last. I wish I knew. I do know that originally the president wanted Easter, but then I got pushed out to May 3rd. I believe he said May 3rd. However, who knows what's going to happen. I've heard different stories just as much as everyone else out there has. You guys have heard the gossip. I've heard it. I'm trying to make contacts, calls to figure out what's going on. But really, the problem is no one really knows. I truly feel that if things were relinquished and we actually have our lockdown restrictions released and we're able to carry out our lives normally, then God forbid that it spikes up again and they already set precedents to lock us down once more. Or if another virus hits, then they'll lock us down. At what point do we step up and say, enough is enough? We need to carry out our lives. I feel that I'm pretty safe. When I go to the store, I will carry some Lysol, hand sanitizer, whatever it is. We just need to be safe. Now, I mentioned it, but Japan, when I was stationed there, they did this already before all this happened. I was stationed there in about what, '05? It was like '05, I believe I was there. We'll talk about that in a second, Angel, but I will be cheering for my Patriots. But they'll wear their mask on a daily basis if they're sick or if they feel that there is an illness going around. That's how they live. I mean, it's the norm. And I think that that's something that will happen here, is that we will be adapting that. Not necessarily from Japan, just this in general. If someone's sick, it's not out of the norm to not wear a mask. I know back about a year ago, before all this happened, if you see someone wearing one, people would look at them being like, what? But it'll become the norm, and I'm okay with it. I would love to have one. You know, if I am sick, I'm going out, because you know what? I'm sick. It goes through your pores and your fingers. You touch them at the grocery store, whatever it is. But if I am sick, I'm going to try staying home, regardless if it's a flu, a headache, my allergies, whatever. I will stay home. I think it's something that we should start adapting, but without the states, governors putting restrictions on us. Let me see here. Michael, you said some of the businesses will never fully recover. I don't think some will. I really don't. I do know at least the small businesses. With my experience, I truly believe 80% is never coming back. 80% will be shut down, file bankruptcy, whatever they have to file, or just close in general. That's what's going to happen. I don't like it. I know none of us out there like it. But if we can create a program that once all this is said and done, if we create, and I'm not trying to give handouts, because I think handouts are the worst things. And I really don't agree with the stimulus package fully. Parts of it I do. Obviously, the pork and the beef in it, I don't agree with. I don't think we need to give museums or Boeing anything. It needs to go more towards the people, and only about 10% at the most was given to the people, and the other 90 was given to the big corporations, which it shouldn't have. I do know Democrats, we talked about it last time, there was a bill being pushed, but every single Democrat denied it. It was supposed to give $250 million, I believe, to the small businesses here in Ohio. It was ridiculous. It got denied because the Democrats wanted to put some more meats and potatoes inside of it that involved illegal aliens, giving them money because they pay taxes apparently, which I don't agree with. If you're an illegal alien, you're here illegally, you do not deserve any money from our government. You're breaking the law, go back home. Then you saw many masks. Yeah, that's where I was in Okinawa. I was at Camp Kinzer, Fatema, Foster for a while. I did go to Hanson for like a week, but that's what they do. Yes, Gino, a lot of small restaurant owners will be in trouble, and I think that's the biggest. I mean, small businesses, they're the foundation of our entire nation. We need to ensure they are taken care of, not these corporations. Now, I understand it's really big or really important to ensure that all businesses succeed. But I mean, if a big old tree falls down in the forest, a new one will come up. We need to stop protecting the old trees. We got to stop holding them up with spikes and supports, and we should just let it fall. It'll be devastating, but not that bad, because the younger ones will come up, they will grow, they will become stronger, which creates a better foundation for our nation. Chuck, I do agree with you. I mean, I really don't trust the mail-in ballots either. I do know, I believe it was, I'm going to be wrong on the state. It was either Arkansas or Illinois or whatever it was, but the election dates already came and passed, and they just found about a few thousand vote or ballots collecting dust. So they were never submitted, they were never delivered, and they were not accounted for. So who knows? Is that going to happen here? I hope not, and it should not. You can drop off your ballot at the Board of Elections. That much I do know. You can drop off your request form at the Board of Elections. You can drop off your ballot at the Board of Elections. That way you know it's not going to get lost in the mail, especially if you have it last minute and you don't think that the mail office will be able to get it there in time. Drive down. I mean, it's in the same county. You're probably looking at a 15-minute drive, depending on where you're at the most. I think what he's talking about, Mike, is that it being lost, like I was talking about. I mean, I don't trust it either. I did early vote. First time in my life, I went early voting. Brick, thanks for joining. Ken, thank you. I know I missed a few of you. Vaughn, thank you so much. I definitely appreciate everyone's support. I have had a lot of messages about individuals saying they got their ballot. They voted for me. So I definitely appreciate your support and your vote. Extremely humbled. I'm literally lost for words. We definitely will, together, united, we will bring this district back, and our nation will go back in the right direction. And we definitely need strong leaders in Congress, the Senate, trustees, Board of Education, commissioners. We need to elect strong individuals in every office to ensure we come back fast, stronger, and harder when we get our restrictions released, and our businesses that have failed, we bring them back. Addison, thanks for joining. What did I do this weekend? I don't have the pictures on my computer, but I posted on my personal page. What I've been doing is we had a shed just falling apart, obviously when we first bought this house, and I bought a shed that's been sitting in my garage in pieces waiting because there was more projects that were more important to get done. I'm working on those, but now obviously the summer is coming up. Tore that down, found about 4 or 5, I think, are black widow spiders. Obviously, I knew to check underneath the belly and on top of the belly to see if there's that red hourglass, but I was too busy hitting it with a sledgehammer to make sure it was dead. So I don't do spiders. That's my one weakness. It ain't happening. I will burn that shed down again if I see another one. And someone tells me I'm about to get a special guest here where's your shirt, man? No. But I'm live streaming. You don't even wear a shirt. You got a what? You got a diaper on? Okay, it's bedtime. No. You gonna say goodnight? Let's hide the diaper, okay? This is my little man, Logan. You say hi. You look in the camera. Say hi. Hi. Say hi, people. Hi. So, do you have a happy Easter? Say happy Easter. Happy Bunny. Yeah, Bonnie. The bunny came. We got him some cool stuff. Are you getting ready to go to bed? No. No. You sure? Oh, coming. Yeah, Mama's coming. Okay. Be good, okay? No, you're fine, love. It's okay. Go back to Mom. Go to bed, okay? That's my little man, Logan. He is definitely a loud, ornery guy. He's excuse the noise. He'll be gone here in a minute. Don't worry about it. He's definitely it's fine. Don't worry about it. It's okay. Yeah,
okay. I got you. I got your night light ready for you. Your special one.
Bye-bye. You want a hug? Well, I'm live streaming. People like asking me political questions and stuff. Come here. Give me a hug. Give me a hug. Okay, good. We good? You say bye? Bye. Say night-night. Night-night. Okay. All right. Sorry. That was my little man. That was my manager. Definitely their heart and soul. That guy will wear you out in like 10 minutes, I swear. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, he is. He's a cutie pie. Hey, Keith, how you doing? Alan, thanks for joining. Bill, Mike, Edward, and Mike again. And David, thanks for joining. Yeah, they are. The only one who hasn't been on here is my stepson, my 15-year-old Connor Hood. He is 15. He is He's a great kid. Don't get me wrong. He's awesome. He is amazing. But he's 15. He doesn't want to get, he's worried about girls. Got to make sure his hair's right. All that. So I completely lost track of what I was talking about. My little son has a tendency of doing that. We're about at our halfway point, so we'll reiterate absentee ballot. We'll get rid of these so that we can see my ugly mug here some more. And I'll move back. Make sure you request your absentee ballots. You have till the 27th to have them postmarked. So definitely, if you don't have your absentee ballot request form, fill one out, print them off online, go down to your Board of Elections, grab one, fill it out when you're there. It takes about 3 minutes to fill it out. All it is your name, date of birth, address at which you're registered. There's a lot of individuals saying that they got a letter back saying they did not get their ballots. They got a notification. I'll use my wife for example. The last time she voted, she hasn't voted since we moved. I voted every year, obviously, but she hasn't voted since we moved. Not sure why. Forget the reasoning. However, she had an old address. So if she filled out an absentee ballot with our current address, it would get kicked back. It would be denied because her registered address would be on Westchester, not on Hickory Lane. So make sure you have the right address. If you're not too sure, go on the Secretary of State's website, check your registration so you can see what address is there. Make sure it's mailed to your address. Get your absentee ballot. Also, if you're not registered because you haven't voted for so long, it's a little too late to register. But make sure that you take it this election, but make sure you register before the actual general on November 3rd. The actual date you have till register to vote, it's not determined yet. At least I haven't seen it. It'll probably be 1 month, 2 months prior. So make sure you go out there and get it. If you guys have any problems, let us know. I do know they mail them out, the ballots, once they receive the request forms every Thursday or Friday. The last time they're going to send any type of ballots out will be the 25th. So if you have not requested it, then request it. There is only about 15 more days left till the actual election day. There is in-person voting. The in-person voting is only a limited amount of individuals, and it's only for those with disabilities. What qualifies as a disability on their terms, I'm not too sure. Call your Board of Elections, ask them, see if you qualify for in-person voting before you go down there. But also at the same point, understand that they might close that again. Who knows what Governor DeWine and the Health Director Acton is going to do. So just get it done. Fill out the absentee ballot. Bite the bullet. These are the cards that we've been dealt. Let's play them and elect individuals in office that will ensure that what happened at this election never happens again. Tim, thanks for joining. David, Chrissy, David again. Yeah, they are, but I mean, I'm sure it will be 6 feet away from motorcycle to motorcycle. We can do social distancing. I don't think anyone wants to be within 6 feet of me anyways. I'm a newbie with a motorcycle, but I'll get out there. I'm looking forward to going on rides with you, David, Art, John Whitwer, Bikers for Trump. I can't wait. It's definitely going to be an exciting summer. Eric, how are you? Thanks for joining. As everyone knows, I have been endorsed by the Buckeye Firearm Association and the Bikers for Trump, Ohio. Now, 2 people I've been endorsed by. One of the questions that came up on my phone was, who else have I been endorsed by, and how does endorsements work? Well, when you run for office, you'll get like a questionnaire. I don't have any with me. You'll just get a questionnaire, and you fill out the questions, and you write whatever answer that you feel is what you believe, and you submit it in, and obviously their board will look at it and determine if they want to endorse you or give you a grade, whatever the case is. I truly believe that is a wrong way to go about it. Most places will have you come in and you'll actually talk to them in person. The reason why I say I think that's a bad way of doing it is when someone sends you a questionnaire, you know exactly how they want you to answer it. So all these endorsements that people are getting, you have to ask yourself, is this what they truly believe? Or is this how they answered it just to get to the endorsement by those individuals so they can plaque it on their Facebook, plaster it wherever they on the website, wherever the case is, just to get their endorsement. I don't know if John Whitwer is on here, but the reason why I got his endorsements because I told him that I would not be kissing anyone's bleep. All right. And he liked that. He's like, we don't need someone in office who is going to be a yes and yes, sir, yes, ma'am individual. We want someone who's actually going to fight for the people and look at the individuals, even on both sides, definitely Democrats, but also Republicans, to ensure they stay in line. We all know the Democratic Party was good at one point. Back with JFK, it was okay, but then it's changed. So is the Republican Party, could that change as well? Yes, it could. Everything can change, but as long as we elect strong leaders that hold true to their beliefs and ensure that the person to the right and the person to the left don't veer off track, that's who we need. I want someone who's going to stand by Jim Jordan and say, hey, what are you doing? Henshaw, what are you doing? Bill, all of them, what are you doing? And the same, we also need people to go across the aisle, kick down a Democratic's door, grab him by the ear, metaphorically, and say, what in the God's name are you doing to this nation? Because they are not fighting for the nation. They're fighting for their own pocket. They want to give illegal immigrants more benefits. They already are giving illegal immigrants more benefits than their own national citizens, our American citizens, born, raised, everything. Why? And we're still electing those people into office. It's ridiculous. It needs to stop. We need to elect individuals in office who's going to fight that. I do know there's an Army vet who's running against Pelosi. She needs to get in office because Pelosi needs to get out. She is definitely by far the biggest swamp monster you can ever think of. Trying to give pay raises. She was trying to give a pay raise to all elected officials again. We don't need people like that in office. We already have elected officials who are corrupt. They vote for their own pay raise. We don't need that. We actually need a pay decrease. I understand DC is an expensive place. I understand that, milk is more expensive over there, or et cetera, yada, whatever you want to say. But $174,000 a year, when we have homeless, we have people getting paid less than that and living perfectly fine in DC. They don't need that much money, especially with all the incentives that's going on. Now, if I'm wrong, I would love a congressman or a woman to come and tell me that I'm wrong. I can take calls. If anyone wants to get on here and I can do a split screen, be more than happy to. If I am wrong, I'll be the first person to say, my bad. But I know Congress is overpaid. All of them are overpaid. Tim, thanks for joining. It does. Thank you, David. It does have to start. If you all notice, there are more veterans running in this election than there have been in all the last 10 years. And that's not just for Congress. That's including Senate, state reps, trustees, wards, city council, board of election, board of education. I get those mixed up. Board of elections, board of education. It's just it's how it rolls off my tongue. The commissioners, there are more veterans running for office than there have been in the last 10 years. Why? It's because their fortitude and their dedication to this nation, and they're tired of seeing the bickering and back and forth over who stole whose cupcake while their brothers and sisters are still fighting, sacrificing their lives for this nation. The states created the government. The government didn't create the states. The government is supposed to work for the states, not against it. And for far too long, they've been working against it. David, thanks for joining. The Convention of States. The term limits. Yeah, I am for term limits. This came across my personal message. John, I am for term limits. I would push a bill, a piece of legislation to implement term limits. The only problem is it ain't going to get passed. It's been pushed before. They've done it kind of like a, hey, look, I've tried, but it's not going to get passed unless we actually elect those individuals out of office who voted no against it, and or do their Convention of States. It's a way But the states can say the government is getting too powerful. It overrides Congress. They don't need Congress's approval, and it gets done. They do need 3/4 of the states to actually get on board, which I think we have about, I think it's 28 states so far. I might be incorrect on the number, but that's just ways to do it. Anything we need to. Michael Meta, you asked me about unions. Let me pull this up here. I'm conflicted with unions, honestly. It depends on which ones. You got good ones, you got bad ones, you got crappy ones. Look at UAW. They ripped off the people. They frauded everything and they possibly can. There are some unions that are still out there for the people, the employees. But there are some other unions that are out there that are in cahoots with the business, sucking the employee dry. And we also have the unions that fight for that druggie who just did drugs on their lunch break and drove a forklift through a wall. And the employer wants to fire that individual, but now they can't because they're going to be stuck in the legal battle and that person's going to keep their job. I'm not okay with it. However, honestly, a union it's up to the people. If you guys want to join a union, that's on you. But I'm not for the unions that are out for themselves. I do believe there needs to be some restrictions or some guidelines, to ensure they don't become overpowerful, because that's what they're doing. Some of them turn, like I don't like the UAW, but if you just let me know which unions are out there, it's good. I mean, I do like the police unions. They're good, most of them. Same thing with the nursing unions. Most of them are good, but not all of them are good. Not all of them are bad. If you tell me which one you're talking about, I'll be more than happy to give you a more specific answer. But I am conflicted when it comes to unions. Eric, you asked, do I believe we should open our state government? What do you mean by open our state government? Are you talking about open our state back up again from the where is that? From the coronavirus? Can you give me a little bit more details what you're asking so I can give you a good answer or what I truly believe? I mean, I do agree the unions are there, the good ones, the old school ones are there for the people to ensure that they get paid for the quality of work they do. Because there are some businesses out there who will just nickel and dime anything and make sure the pay stays as minimal as possible so that way they have more money in their own pocket and not taking care of the employee. Now, I definitely want the employee taken care of, but it all depends on just what union you're talking about. I'm not too familiar with which union is responsible for the Boilermakers, but you got my respect because I would probably break a boiler if I tried to do anything. We all agree changes. Jamie, thanks for joining. Tim, Jake, Edward, Richard, thank you. Sheila, you guys, I definitely appreciate all your support. Let's see here. Fair enough. If y'all don't know, I actually have the Facebook app open on my phone. I see the comments before it actually shows up on my program. They are. Believe it or not, I have a huge support on the Democratic side. I'm not a Democrat in any way. I am a Republican, but I am more for the people than I am anything else. The reason why I have a huge support group on the Democratic side is because they know that I don't care about. I'm proud to be a Republican, and I am proud to run under that banner. And I will support the Republican Party as long as their main goal is to help the people. As long as their main goal is to ensure that people's lives are getting better, we improve our communities, our towns, our cities, we improve everything, our education, our medical, as long as we improve that, and that's the focus they are on, which they are, then I will support them wholeheartedly. But the reason why I have a lot of Democrats supporting me is because they know that I'm not going to look at a Republican and say, "Oh yeah, pay raise, yeah, just do it." No, it ain't going to happen. I will tell a Democrat to go pound sand if it's wrong. I would tell a Republican to go pound sand if it's wrong. And what I mean pound sand is like dig a little hole. Let's start digging. I will have no problem agreeing with a Democrat as long as it's beneficial for the people. Like that $250 million added stimulus bill that the Republicans want to add on for small businesses. Just their focus was to push a bill to help these small businesses that are suffering. Because the stim package, that phase 3, that was signed by the president, it was like 3 weeks ago, where everyone's getting that $1,200. They wanted to add more for the small businesses to keep them functioning on board, so that way when this thing happens, it's all easier to progress and get back to where they were at. But the Democrats denied it because they want all this other pork and beef involved in the bill. But they're like, the Republicans are like, no, we just want to focus on this. If you want to do that, great. Create their own legislation. Stop putting legislation within legislation. That needs to stop. Like what Pelosi was trying to do with the stim bill, I think it was like a day before, she was trying to put in all this stuff like money for illegal immigrants and pay raises for elected officials. It's like, no, this is supposed to help the people in this time of need, not put your entire agenda that you've been trying to push for the last 3.5 years into this bill. That's not what it's for. That's why this $250 million legislation that was trying to be pushed to help out small businesses, the Republicans should have, that they were trying to, the Democrats should have said, you know, that's a good idea. Let's help the small businesses and let's push our own legislation. But they didn't want to. Why? Because they're a bunch of crybabies like in the store, kicking and screaming and whining over candy that they don't have. Jody, thanks for joining. Christina, thank you. I would definitely appreciate everyone's support. We'll pop this thing back up on the screen. A national debt. But I am a little worried about the national debt. We all should be. It's $24 trillion. Our GDP is not doing so good. It increased or decreased. Where'd that go? I got two screens here. This is confusing. All right, here we go. Let's scroll over here. It's 27.07. So we're going to log that in. And when I go live on Wednesday, we're going to see how it increased or decreased. Now, this is a live ticker. If you guys don't know what it is, copy. I'll post it up here. This is the website. If anyone wants to know, that's where it's at. You guys go ahead and click that link. If it didn't go on the Facebook, let me know. And I'll make sure I get it on the Facebook page, the link as well. I do love that little eagle. I try to get my green screen to show it, but it won't do GIFs. I know we're talking about the coronavirus and the Democrats and the conflicting bills that's going on. We also need to make sure that we don't get away where we kind of forget about all the other important things, such as education. We definitely have seen with what's going on how, I don't want to say horrible, but how not so equipped our education system is. We have teachers using their own personal computers. We got teachers going out buying their own webcam so they can do live streaming with their students, which is great, and that's awesome. They're doing Zoom and Skype, which is outstanding. But that stuff should have been provided for them by the schools, by the states, to ensure that we help these kids out. So education is definitely important. We definitely need to make sure our teachers are taken care of. I know I have a half sister who's a teacher, and pretty much everything that's inside her classroom is paid for by her. Yes, she can file that, claim that on taxes to ensure that if she wants to itemize, but then you have to itemize everything. And taxes is a whole nother mess. But we definitely need to make sure that if this happens again, or who knows what happens, that our kids are taken care of, and that our education system is improving as well. I know when I moved to Austintown, we were a 9, we're now a 5. So when I get elected in the office, trust me, I know it's a state issue and definitely a local issue, but I have no problem kicking down the door of the commissioners, the state reps, the Board of Education, saying what is going on with A, B, or C? Why aren't these being improved? What's going on? You got Hubbard Township Police Department. That is, their trustees are, that's a whole mess and a half. We definitely need to make sure we take care of them. We definitely need to take care of our law enforcement. And there's so many issues that need to be addressed. Everyone's ignoring them right now. Yes, the COVID-19 is a serious issue, but we can't just focus on one issue when we need to focus on several other issues. Like, for example, our current Congressman, Tim Ryan. He's not a doctor. He needs to let them deal with the COVID-19, take their advice, go with what they say, because he's not a doctor, and he needs to do his damn job as a congressman and help our area improve. Instead of writing bills to ensure legal immigrants get money, we should make sure our waitresses and waiters and all these small businesses that are falling to the ground don't fall. He needs to be there to catch them. He needs to start being proactive instead of reactive, because right now all he's doing is sitting in his house, live streaming every day. Yes, I know I'm live streaming, but he is an individual who's capable of making change right now. He is an individual who's capable of issuing or pushing for grants to help these people. Hey, forget the DNR. Go with the Republicans. Ask them, what can we do to help out small businesses? I mean, you have Devin Nunes, Jim Jordan, you have Bill Johnson. You got all these congressmen and women who are looking to improve our lives, and no one is doing anything because no one wants to work with each other. The DNRs need to get tossed out the window. Tim Ryan needs to get out of his house, get on the street, help out people. I know this weekend we dropped off some Easter baskets to some families who needed them. It was great. I wasn't much, but it definitely made the kids happy. The mother lost her job because of the COVID-19 outbreak, and they were suffering a little bit with cash, and I had no problem helping out. We had a donation from a generous individual, and it worked out perfectly. Do you think we're going to get another stimulus package in the next month or so? The longer this happens, I think that maybe a stim package would be helpful, but not for people working. I really don't believe I needed any of that money. I get the whole purpose of it is to put money back in the economy, but I'm not spending any less than I already am. My hours are not altered because of this. I don't need it. They should save that money or put it towards another program that can help out. We have no problem doing that. We definitely want to help people who are in need. I understand there's a lot of individuals who are suffering because of the COVID-19, who have lost their jobs or because their coworker was infected by this disease or virus that they are now out of a job for 14 days. I get it. I've worked with people who can't even take a day off because if they take a day off, they're not going to pay their bills. But there's a lot of individuals out there, or businesses, banks, companies, credit cards, who are working with you to ensure that you're not going to lose your mortgage, you're not going to lose your credit card, it's not going to go on your Credit Karma or anything like that. But I do see one, the longer we stay, I'll pop it up. The longer we stay and restricted, I do see another one coming. I don't want another one coming, but I do see it coming. Beth, thanks for joining. We are going to be wrapping it up, though, so we'll talk about the absentee ballot one more time. Let's get this out of here. All right. Request your absentee ballot. I don't care if you're voting Republican or Democrat. Request it, get it, vote. Request a Republican one. Vote for Santos, because I will be that change that is needed here in this area. You have till the 27th to get your ballot stamped by the post office and actually delivered for it to be counted for. They will count or have all the ballots counted by May 8th. What time May 8th? Normally it's 7:30, so I'm assuming they'll do 7:30 as well. They haven't really given specified a time. So get out there, request it. If you have any issues, let us know. We'll mail you one. We'll get one to you. You can just drive by the Board of Elections, depending on which county you live in. Pick one up, fill it out right there, drop it in that drop box. You should get it by the next week. Should. we don't have it by next week, definitely get a hold of me. We'll be more than happy to help out in any way we can to get you your ballot. With that being said, the quote of the week is the only thing we have to fear is fear itself by Franklin D. Roosevelt. Obviously, the media is blowing up this whole fear mongering, saying COVID's a big deal, but we're not taking into account the individuals who have it, who aren't being tested, have recovered from it. Those numbers are not in the data, only the bad ones. It's not right. So take it with a grain of salt, however you will, but that's just the way it is. If I didn't get your question, I apologize. I will reread this. I'll cover any questions I missed. If I didn't miss it, again, I apologize. But with that being said, I am beyond humbled, and I appreciate every single one of y'all's support. You guys hanging around, listening to me talk, answering your questions. My little 4-year-old, half naked, getting on my live stream. He's definitely a heartbreaker. So with that being said, thank you so much. I am very humbled, and God bless you all, and God bless America.